Hello, everybody. Good morning. It is Monday, and it's a new day, new week. I hope you guys had a fabulous weekend. I had my daughter's birthday weekend this weekend, so it was pretty busy. So I felt inspired to hop onto Facebook Live this morning just to talk to you about some of the things that have come to me. Hello, Joy. How are you? So when you hop on, just go ahead and give me a heart, show me some love. If you catch the replay afterwards, just put hashtag replay. Sending you love as well, Joy. I look forward to seeing you soon. So one of the things that came up for me over the weekend, I had some clients that actually flew in from out of town, which I am so honored and so humbled to be able to serve. They, I had a client fly in from Los Angeles, and I have a client that uses Orlando as her home base, but, she's always jet setting around the world. So the fact that she comes to see me when she has her short visits is always an honor. I'm just so thankful and grateful to be able to do meaningful work that can support women, and that they make it a point to come see me when they're actually in town. So, but one of the things that surfaced for me over this weekend is just how much we as women carry. Quite often, and one of the things that came up in conversation recently was just how sometimes we tend to live vicariously through other people's happiness. And what I mean by that, and I've been guilty of that myself, is being a people pleaser, trying to make everyone else around you happy, especially if you have a large family, if you have a partner, a spouse, you have children, and just feeling like if you can just keep everybody happy and keep everything running as a well-oiled machine, then everything is kosher, everything is okay. But the reality is often by doing that, we're giving away pieces of our own time, our own energy, and our own happiness. And so from the outside looking in, and I remember as my situation began to crumble when I started down the path of divorce, from the outside looking in, it seemed like it can seem like somebody has everything, right? Like somebody has the picture perfect lifestyle. You've got the home, you've got the family, everything is beautiful, and you're running around like crazy trying to make everybody happy and make sure everyone else's needs are met. And at the end of the day, it renders you depleted and exhausted because your needs have gone on the back burner. And there's so many things that we as women carry that are different from men. We're designed distinctly different from men in general, not including the signs that we're born under and our strengths and weaknesses and other characteristics. But so often I've seen women that carry various things, such as pregnancies, miscarriages. I've had a lot of women that come to me that maybe in their first trimester, they're afraid to even tell their families that they're pregnant, just in case something goes wrong, they don't want to have to have the conversation with too many people. It really weighs heavy on them. I have some ladies that, if they do miscarry, that's really tough. I've seen situations where women, they might be pregnant and be reluctant to tell somebody because maybe they've been considering getting out of a relationship and not telling someone. There's a lot of things too when it comes to relationships, and especially when you're facing divorce. People in relationships, sometimes they hide things. Sometimes they hide addictions. Maybe it's alcoholism, some sort of substance, pornography. Maybe they're hiding depression. There's a lot of times that somebody will wear the mask of really overcompensating and going out there to make people happy and to make people feel loved, when in reality they're suffering inside and they're not necessarily addressing their own internal issues. Maybe you yourself have been fighting with depression. I've known people that have suffered through depression and through ups and downs, and sometimes they self-sabotage, or they have issues in relationships, but they're afraid to address it. They're afraid to get the help and support they need. And there is a difference between coaching, guidance, and support and actual clinical therapy. So I want to be very clear about that if you are a person that struggles with things like depression, that you definitely need a licensed professional to support you in dealing with your clinical diagnosis. But if you feel that you're just going through a season in your life, if it's situational, then rather than trying to medicate it or numb it, then it's important just to get coaching, guidance, and support to navigate through it, because there's no way around it. You've got to get through it. So there's a lot of things that women carry, and especially when there's problems in the marriage and problems in the relationship. And they want to keep up appearances because inside our soul is hoping, wishing, and praying that things will resolve, things will rectify, the situation will correct. And we carry kind of a shame or an embarrassment about whether or not we're having success in our marriage or in our relationships or in our home. And it's hard for us to admit or speak openly to share these things, because we carry such a burden of, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves for perfectionism, but we also put on, we don't want to face judgment or criticism. The other thing too is that often, we feel like there's some sort of failure on our part if things are not working out. And I will tell you firsthand, I know, sometimes when you have a relationship with two people, that we live in a world of free will, and if one person's not doing the work, then that's not necessarily a failure on your part. There's some people that just are not willing, and you can't always fix that. So we carry this guilt and this shame, and we try to keep up appearances, and we hope, wish and pray in our souls that things will resolve and will rectify. And also, some of us do understand the power of words, and so you want to be cautious not to go out and share too much with too many people and share your story, in fear of, if you speak it, you might speak it into existence. It might manifest your worst fears, right? Because when you are in a relationship with somebody that you love and hold dearly, you just don't want to admit that things are falling apart. And again, it's not always the fault of you. It might be the choices that somebody else is making. So, just knowing that so many women, they carry, the burdens of pregnancies and miscarriages and reproductive issues, marital troubles. Maybe they've got, a partner that has some sort of an addiction that they're trying to deal with. Maybe they have a loved one that has a clinical diagnosis or has some sort of depression that they're dealing with. Or maybe you as a woman are dealing with hormonal imbalances, depression, things like that too. And I'm going to tell you, I see more often than not today, women getting prescribed birth control that they've never had hormone testing. And that kind of baffles me, quite frankly, because I don't understand how they can tamper with somebody's hormones without understanding where the excess or the deficiency lies. And so sometimes there's a lack of understanding. It puts them on this emotional roller coaster. And sometimes men are saying, oh my gosh, she's crazy, not realizing that they're chemically tampering with her chemical balance within her body. And then you add not only the normal cycles, pregnancies, miscarriages, things like that, and that really takes a toll on the body. Then put on top of that business, career, family, stress in general, that can, increase cortisol levels, increase weight gain, then it's your self-confidence goes down the drain, you're self-conscious, you're trying to eat, or going to food for comfort, which is adding to the problem. I see these vicious cycles happen all the time. And especially women in business, when you're out whining and dining and everything, you're having conversation, you're not necessarily paying attention to the types of foods or the quantity of food that you're eating. I see so much. And at some point, what's going to happen is one of two things. Either the cauldron's going to boil over because you've been stuffing and internalizing and holding on to all of this stuff and carrying it on your own, or what's going to happen is your body is going to break down on you. It's going to manifest as illness. And with illnesses, there is a spiritual and emotional connotation to that. Western medicine does not necessarily, the way that Western medicine works is to diagnose and prescribe. However, ancestral medicine and ancient and holistic styles of medicine look at the whole person as a whole human being, because there are spiritual, emotional ties to what a person is going through that can manifest as illness. There's a direct correlation in there. And so, you would not treat two people the same, even if they have a similar illness, just because there may be other factors involved that need to be addressed in order to unravel some of the health issues that they're having. So, I will tell you this. I see so many women walking around right now that are disconnected from their heart, from their soul, and from their bodies. And that's when a woman gets completely tipped out of balance and starts operating from a place of reactivity, where it's a storm of chaos. It's this chain reaction that goes off, because that disconnect and that lack of alignment is affecting every area and every aspect of their lives. I'm really passionate about this because I've experienced it firsthand myself. I remember my life being completely tipped out of balance. I remember what it feels like to be overweight, to be overly controlling, trying to hold it all together because I had such a sense of perfectionism. I was scared of everything falling apart. I was scared of failure, living a life out of fear. And I remember what it was like to feel completely depleted and exhausted and just dragged through the day and have sleepless nights. I know what it's like. And I know what it's like now to be on the other side, as to where I've completely redesigned my life to be in a state of flow. I like to call it feminine flow, because we are designed to operate in a state of flow rather than going to battle all the time. It's okay for us to put on, to be a warrior queen once in a while when necessary. But the truth of the matter is when you are connected and you stand in your power and everything is in balance, you don't need to go to battle all the time, everywhere. You don't need to be butting heads. You don't need to be having arguments all the time. And that leads me to my next point, because we get triggered, right? Usually family and spouses and exes can trigger us the most, right? They kind of shine a mirror, and when they're acting stupid and they're acting like idiots, I will tell you, this has been a huge growth area for me. And I'm going to speak just candidly, because I used to be that person that was overstressed and overwhelmed. And when somebody would push my buttons, I would be quick to like try to just, it would go to bat, and it would just set off this chain reaction of events, and it would leave me, unfortunately, I'm such a sensitive person, it would render me depleted and exhausted. If I had a fallout or an argument with somebody, I would energetically need to recharge my batteries afterwards. And honestly, it taxed me more than it taxed the people that were pushing my buttons, So what I've learned now is that not every invitation to confrontation needs to be accepted. And so, I had something pop up last night where I got an invitation to a confrontation, and this was a huge area of growth for me, where I was able to step back and say, no, there's no conversation that needs to happen here. There's nothing to hash out. I'm going to make my statement, and that's it. It is what it is. And that's huge for me, because I used to be in such a place of just wanting to explain and help somebody understand and to get on the same page, and to, I'm so conscientious, and I'm so accommodating. And in the past, it was very much to my expense, because I was always the one. I've learned that there's people on two different planes of existence. There's those that like to have power over others, and there's those that are team players and are accommodating and collaborators. I'm a collaborator. I work well, with others. I'm very, I'm very user friendly, I guess you could say. I'm very easygoing. I'm very good at collaborating with others. However, those that are collaborators I cannot ever get on the same page with those who want to have power over another person. Those are typically your narcissistic, your selfish, your self-absorbed people, two totally different planes of existence. You're just never going to be on the same page. And so that's where I help a lot of my clients understand inherent design. What are people's characteristics, strengths, and weaknesses? And once you understand that, you can save yourself the trouble. Sorry, I'm getting passionate with my hands here. When you can save yourself the trouble and the energy of trying to of placing improper expectations on people that are not capable of being that the person you want, neither, or expect them to be. So, letting go, a lot of letting go. And so I was actually really proud of myself and patting myself on the back, because I'm like, gosh, even, I've done so much shadow work over the last few months. Actually, this year, 2018, I'm sure you guys have been feeling it. It's been energetically kind of a crazy year. And like I've said before, even the most benevolent queen can have a shadow side. And so doing that shadow work, the way that I would respond today to certain situations are different from a month ago, 2 months ago, much less a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. And so I was really proud of myself for being able to decline the invitation for confrontation and just say, no, I'm good, and just walk away from it. So, I'm so passionate about supporting women and getting reconnected and realigned and just learning to master the art of supreme self-care. And I'm not talking about just going to the spa and your superficial bullshit. I'm just going to throw it out there. There's a lot of superficial self-care terms that are running around out there. But when you're talking about wisdom, inherent design, lifestyle redesign, and really connecting and embracing. I take a powerful stand for women embracing their essence, because at the end of the day, it's about reclaiming the most important thing, which is yourself. And if you've been running around giving away pieces of your identity and pieces of your time and pieces of your energy to where you are a young person, I'm sorry, I'm 41. I don't plan to be old yet. I don't think anybody my age, I even know women in their 50s and older, don't plan to be old yet. But the way that you avoid aging and getting old is by putting everything into alignment. And most of the time when you're living in a state of stress and chaos, you don't know where to begin. You're just in this storm. And I remember so much what it was like just not being able to think straight, just because of all the personal stuff that I had going on, plus my body being out of balance, burning out my adrenals, losing sleep, overeating, so many different things. And the body has such an amazing ability to heal itself. And that's why I became so passionate, not just about beauty, but about holistic wellness, because it's beauty and wellness from the inside out. And I'm living proof that you can turn back the clock and actually heal and repair yourself at the cellular level, heal and repair your DNA. And there are spiritual and emotional connections to that. And that's why I've designed a life mapping system that I work with my clients when we kick off our coaching relationship to help them understand and reconnect all these missing pieces, because you can only do so many mindset modules, so many positive affirmations. You can only go and do so much superficial self-care, where, they're all pieces to the pie and they all have value. But where I come in is that deep inner work and supporting women, because I have been through the fire. I've navigated through it and I've come out on the other side better, whereas otherwise it could have rendered me completely like just a pile of rubble. Some people, when they go through tough times, they can completely buckle and just break down. And I've been fortunate that step by step, piece by piece, I've been able to reclaim my life and get in alignment with my soul and design my life to where there's a flow, and I honor myself and I honor my body, and I've gotten better and better. I'm constantly studying. I'm deep diving into into women and our inherent design, so that way I can just really support women at a higher level. I have my 60 AA program right now that I'm really excited about, because I have so much juicy information to show that is going to be life shifting and life changing just right out of the gate. And I have my VIP immersion experience to unplug you from your current environment so you can finally make yourself a priority and get you back in touch with your soul and your feminine essence, and learn the tools to manage your moods, to manage your stress, and to do things differently going forward in order to restore yourself and become whole, and then be able to give from a place of wholeness and give from a place of overflow. We become the healing agent once we heal ourselves by the choices that we make, the energy that we carry. It just all has a ripple effect in every aspect of our lives, in our relationships, in our intimacy, in the work that we do, our efficiency, our productivity. So rather than flying by the seat of your pants, just trying to hold it all together and stay on top of it and then react to putting out fires, it puts you in a place of being able to work efficiently and smarter, not harder. And it's a beautiful place to be. What can I tell you? I don't know if you can see, I woke up this morning feeling beautiful and glorious. I can feel the season is changing. The light changed. I noticed in the morning this morning, and I was like, I feel really good today. And I just felt really inspired to hop on and talk to everybody and share this, because what I'm experiencing for myself, I want other women to have for themselves. I want you to have what I'm experiencing, because I remember what it was like to just feel so crappy, and just a drag and just dread like life every day. And it just doesn't have to be that way. We're not designed just to work and pay bills and try to control and manage everything. That's not how we're designed. We're really meant to hold and carry the energy of wholeness and healing that we can share with everyone around us. And, I know so many women that, they're self-sacrificing by working 12 and 14-hour days, sitting in front of their laptop, constantly tethered to their phones. Meanwhile, they're getting pulled in all different directions because they're sucked into the vortex, and then the sleepless nights, and then, the low energy during the day. I can't reiterate it just because I just remember how awful it felt. It just really sucked, And so I'm just glad to be in a place. I'm so thankful and grateful to be in a place now where I can live in a state of joy and abundance, and I can share that with other women, and I can support them. And I'm working on an application basis right now. I do have a spot open here in the next couple weeks for a VIP intensive day. So for those of you that have been watching for a while, maybe you haven't reached out to me yet or messaged me. I know sometimes you watch, maybe you don't like or you comment, but this is an invitation. The time is now. If these are the things that are tugging at your heart, that deep down in your soul are a struggle for you, then it's time to explore getting the support and healing that you need in order to make change. Because if you don't change something, then guess what changes? Nothing, right? So it's a matter of gaining the wisdom and the guidance from somebody that's actually walked through it and had success with it. And I'm here to support you. I would love to review your application and see if we're fit to work together. And so I really appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. And for those of you, I know that I do have an audience of gentlemen as well. Some of you have reached out to me that there is a woman in your life that is struggling with stress and overwhelm and being exhausted and over depleted, and sometimes you yourself don't know how to support them. So encourage them to reach out to me, another woman that can understand, physiologically, psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, and everything else, what it takes to put a woman back into balance, so that way she can be present and connected, and you guys can have deeper levels of intimacy and relationship amongst yourselves and feel closer, as loved ones and families. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys. I hope you have a fabulous start to your week. And if you're catching the replay, just put #replay. You have a great day. Take care.